You think you're a good man, reliable, helpful. The guy who shows up, keeps his word, answers fast, smooths problems over. And yet no one fears losing you. No one hesitates before disrespecting you. People feel comfortable testing you, using you, or ignoring you because they already know your pattern. You'll stay polite. You'll explain yourself. You'll forgive. You'll keep trying to be understood. That's not a strength. That's conditioning. Look at your week and tell me this isn't you. At work, you watch a colleague take credit for your idea in a meeting. You feel the heat rise, but you smile because you don't want to look emotional. Later, you replay it in your head for hours. Then you send a long message trying to clear it up, and you end up sounding needy. In relationships, you sense your partner pulling away, so you talk more, text more, chase more. You become available like a service. With friends and family, a cousin jokes at your expense, and everyone laughs like it's nothing. You force a grin because you don't want to ruin the vibe. Later, that identical cousin calls you for a favor, and you say yes because saying no feels selfish. You keep buying peace with your pride, then you wonder why they don't treat you like a man. You were trained to be helpful, obedient, and friendly, not powerful. Machiavelli would look at this and call it what it is: a man who has not learned how power works. Not evil, not bad, just unarmed in a world where people compete, measure, and position themselves. In his cold, practical way, Machiavelli warned that the world is not arranged for your comfort. It's arranged for advantage. And if you don't shape advantage, someone will shape you. Here's the line most men avoid. Your mind is not dangerous because you can fight. Your mind becomes harmful when you can read the game, control your impulses, and move people without begging for permission. That kind of mind isn't loud. It's trained, conditioned. It becomes the calm weapon in a room full of emotional amateurs. In this video, you're going to get 6 laws built from Machiavelli's mindset that forge a psychological edge. Those laws contain 8 dark habits. Habits that create a man others can't casually manipulate. Habits that make you harder to predict, harder to corner, harder to replace. And listen carefully. If you're here for comfort, leave no doubt that you want to keep believing that being nice is the same as being respected. Close this video. Many will. Only serious viewers stay. Put your phone face down and listen. Because once you see these habits clearly, you can't unsee them. You'll recognize why certain men seem untouchable. Why do they walk into rooms? And why do people adjust? Why can they be quiet and still control the temperature of the conversation? And you'll realize something uncomfortable. They are not lucky. They are trained. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Now, let's get surgical. You start by killing your need to be seen as good, not your morals, your strategy. Most men try to win by being understood. They explain their intentions. They show their effort. They display their loyalty like a receipt. In real life, that's how you get used to it. People don't reward effort. They reward leverage and value. Machiavelli lived among smiling allies and hidden knives. He learned that appearing harmless is different from being harmless. Think about the last time you spoke in a room where you wanted respect. You talked too much. You filled the silence because silence felt like danger. You answered questions that weren't asked. You gave context nobody requested. You revealed your doubts, your motives, your plan. You thought transparency would make people trust you. Often, it just gave them a map of your weak spots. So you reverse it. You learn the first dark habit: strategic silence. Silence is not passivity. Silence is a tool that forces exposure. When you stop explaining, people reveal themselves. They start selling you, probing you, testing you. They show you what they want. They show you how they think. And if you're quiet long enough, they start projecting onto you. They imagine you have options. They assume you're calm because you're in control. This changes the power dynamic fast. The man who talks the most is usually the man who needs something. The man who can hold silence is the man with internal authority. Machiavelli advised rulers to hide specific intentions, not because they are ashamed, but because disclosure would remove flexibility. If people know your next move, they can plan against it. If they don't, they must treat you with caution. Strategic silence also protects you from self-sabotage. When you're emotional, your mouth becomes a leak. You reveal your hurt. You reveal your fear. You reveal how badly you want approval. Then the wrong person uses it. The dangerous mind learns to delay speech until it's clean. The second dark habit is information hunger. You stop being the man who confesses, and you become the man who collects. In meetings, you ask short questions and let others talk. You watch who interrupts, who flatters, who avoids responsibility. You notice who laughs too hard at the boss's jokes, because they're showing you their loyalty. You pay attention to who praises you in public, but blocks you in private. You listen to how people talk about those who aren't in the room, because that's the blueprint for how they'll talk about you when you're not there. This is mental conditioning. You are training your nervous system to stay cool while you observe. Most men get emotionally hijacked and start reacting. You're learning to delay reaction. That delay is a superpower. It gives you space, and space is where strategy lives. You apply this in relationships too. When someone pulls away, your old habit is to chase and demand clarity. Your new habit is to watch, not to punish, to learn. If they pull away, you don't beg, you don't accuse. You let the distance speak. You let their behavior reveal their priorities. Machiavelli would call this reading the terrain. You can't control what you refuse to look at. No, silence and information are useless if your reputation is weak. Most men think reputation is about being liked. Machiavelli would laugh. Reputation is about being believed. People don't follow the nicest man. They follow the man whose consequences feel real. Picture a family dinner. Someone tries to make you the punching bag. They throw a joke at you. Then watch your reaction like a scientist. If you smile and accept it, you teach everyone that you are safe to disrespect. If you explode, you look unstable, and they frame you as the problem. Either way, you lose. So, you develop the third dark habit, controlled image. You decide what you represent, and you defend it with calm consistency. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good and use that knowledge when necessary. That doesn't mean you become cruel for fun. It means you stop being trapped by your desire to look pure. You learn the art of appearing virtuous while keeping your edge hidden. In modern terms, you don't broadcast your boundaries with speeches. You enforce them quietly. You don't tell people you're dangerous. You show them you're not easy. You don't post your principles for applause. You live them. And when someone tests you, you respond in a way that matches the image you want. Calm, firm, and final. This is how the psychological edge forms. When you are predictable, people test you. When you are consistent, people respect you. When you are both calm and firm, people start regulating themselves around you. They speak differently. They negotiate differently. They stop trying to win against you because they sense you don't play emotional games. At work, a controlled image means you stop being the man who is always available. You don't rush to volunteer for every extra task to prove you're valuable. You deliver results, and you let results speak. You speak with fewer words, but more precision. You don't argue in the hallway where gossip lives. You talk in the right room with the correct facts. And then you let silence do the rest. People learn that you are not a debate club. You are an outcome. In relationships, a controlled image means you stop performing goodness. You don't prove you're loyal by overgiving. You don't prove you're mature by tolerating disrespect. You become the man whose standards are quiet and obvious. And because they are apparent, the wrong people feel uncomfortable around you. That's a win. Now we move into a habit that feels uncomfortable to men trained to be fair. The fourth dark habit is controlled generosity. Machiavelli saw generosity as dangerous when it makes you dependent on applause. He warned that a ruler who tries to be generous to everyone will ruin himself, because to fund that generosity, he must take from people, and then they hate him. In your life, it's simpler. If you give too much, too often, you train people to expect you. Your giving becomes your identity. Then people get comfortable taking, and they stop seeing your giving as a choice. Look at the man who always pays for the group. At first, they say, "the best." Then they stop thanking him. Then they stop noticing. And when he tries to pull back, they call him selfish. That's the trap. When you give without structure, you teach entitlement. A dangerous mind goes with strategy. You give in a way that creates loyalty, not dependency. You help when it builds something real. Trust with memory, alliance with cost, goodwill that can be called on later. You do not give to fill your insecurity. You do not want to avoid conflict. You do not choose to be chosen. This is where you build another dark habit inside the same law. Creating clean debt. Not money debt, psychological debt. When you help someone, make it clear that help is a gift, not a subscription. You don't keep rescuing the same person. You don't keep fixing the same crisis over and over. You let people feel the weight of their choices. Because if they never think about weight, they never grow, and you become their caretaker. So you shift. You become selective. You let people invest in you too. You let them carry weight. You let them prove themselves. And here's what happens. The people with character step up. The people who only wanted your resources fade away. That is not cruelty. That is filtration. Machiavelli said men are often ungrateful and fickle when it suits them. That sounds harsh, but it's a useful default. It means you don't build your life on other people's promises. You make it to the structure. You assume people will pursue their advantage, and you set your rules accordingly. You stop being shocked when someone chooses themselves. You adjust your access. This habit makes you dangerous because it makes you hard to drain. Your energy becomes protected. And when your energy is protected, you think clearly. You don't resent people. You don't keep a secret score. You don't become passive-aggressive. You move like a strategist. But none of this matters if you can't enforce consequences. This is where Machiavelli becomes truly misunderstood. The fifth dark habit is decisive enforcement. He wrote about cruelty well used. That phrase is cold, but it's precise. It means you don't spread punishment in a messy, emotional way. You don't lash out randomly. You don't keep forgiving the same offense until it becomes normal. You strike once, cleanly, and you end uncertainty. In your life, cruelty well used looks like an immediate proportional consequence. No long lectures, no emotional explosions, no threats you won't carry out, just action. A boundary without enforcement is a suggestion. People treat suggestions like jokes. Imagine you're dating someone who keeps disrespecting you in small ways. They cancel at the last minute, then act like you're dramatic for caring. They flirt for attention, then call you insecure for noticing. They insult you as humor and say you can't take a joke. Your old self tries to be patient, to communicate, to give the benefit of the doubt. You call it maturity. But inside you feel the slow poison. You're being trained to tolerate disrespect. The dangerous mind does something different. It removes access. It reduces investment. It stops reward behavior. You don't punish with tantrums. You punish by withdrawing your time and your effort. You become calm and unavailable to manipulation. And if the pattern continues, you end it. Machiavelli would say it's better to take a hard action once than to bleed slowly for months. At work, decisive enforcement might mean you stop covering for a coworker who constantly drops the ball. You document what you do. You put agreements in writing. You stop doing favors for someone who never credits you. If a manager disrespects you, you don't complain to everyone like a victim. You prepare. You build evidence. You find leverage. You speak once with clarity, and you let consequences be real. This is also where you build the habit of clean endings. Most men drag endings out because they fear being the bad guy. They keep talking it out with someone who enjoys the drama. They keep giving chances to someone who sees chances as weakness. Machiavelli would call this poor statecraft. A leader who can't end problems becomes the problem. So you train yourself to end things without rage. You end conversations. You end deals. You end access. You do it with a calm face. That calm face is part of your power. It tells the world you're not acting out of emotion. You're acting out of principle. Now, a lot of men hear this and think it means becoming abusive. That's not what you're doing. You're not hurting people for pleasure. You're refusing to be trained into weakness. You're refusing to reward disrespect. That's dignity. There is another habit Machiavelli would demand from you, because without it, you will always be baited: emotional detachment. This is the sixth dark habit, and it's where most men fail because they confuse emotion with truth. They feel something, so they treat it as a command. They feel disrespected, so they explode. They feel lonely, so they chase. They feel anxious, so they overtalk. They feel guilt, so they give. A dangerous mind feels the emotion and still chooses the move. Machiavelli was not teaching you to have no emotions. He was teaching you not to be ruled by them. He watched leaders destroy themselves by craving love, praise, and reassurance. He understood that love is unstable because it depends on mood. Fear is more stable because it depends on consequences. For you, the more profound lesson is internal. You need to face internal consequences. If you betray your own standards, you pay the price. If you keep your standards, you win. So you train detachment like a muscle. When someone tries to bait you don't rush to defend your ego. You breathe. You pause. You let them hang in their own energy. You stop trying to convince people of your worth. You stop arguing with disrespect. You remove yourself from conversations designed to pull you into weakness. You also detach from the fantasy of fairness. You were taught that if you do the right thing, people will do the right thing back. Sometimes they will. Often they won't. Detachment means you can accept that without turning bitter. You don't become hateful. You become realistic. In relationships, detachment means you can walk away without drama. You can't do this. This doesn't work for me. And end it. No essays, no revenge, no begging. Your self-respect becomes stronger than your appetite for attention. That quality is terrifying to people who rely on controlling you through emotion. At work, detachment means you don't take every slight personally. You see it as data. You don't burn bridges in a fit of pride. You wait. You pick the timing. You align with the right people. You understand that most people are thinking about their position, not your feelings. Detachment lets you operate in reality. I'll mention one cameo thinker and then move on. Sun Tzu said that if you know the enemy and know yourself, you will not fear the result of 100 battles. That's it. No philosophy tour. It matches Machiavelli's point. Knowledge and self-control win, not emotion. Now comes the habit that makes you truly hard to manipulate. Testing loyalty. Most men don't test. They hope. They assume. They trust too fast because they're hungry for an alliance. Machiavelli warned that people will stay loyal when it costs them nothing. The moment loyalty has a price, you learn who is real. The seventh dark habit is controlled testing. You don't announce tests. You design situations that reveal people's character. You give them small opportunities to show integrity. You watch how they act when they have leverage. You watch how they behave when you can't do anything for them. You watch how they react when you say no. In friendships, you don't have to be the organizer every time. You let silence happen. You stop being the one who reaches out first for a while. You see who checks in and who disappears. You know who only shows up when there's a benefit, a favor, a ride. You stop confusing proximity with loyalty. In a family, you stop trying to rescue everyone. You offer one clear option, then you step back. You see who respects your boundary and who tries to guilt you back into your old role. You know who only calls when they need money, time, or emotional labor. And instead of getting angry, you take notes. In relationships, testing loyalty is subtle. You set a standard and see if it's met without constant reminders. You pull back your efforts slightly and watch if they balance it or exploit it. You watch how they speak about you to others, not just to your face. You pay attention to consistency, not chemistry. Chemistry can be faked. Consistency costs energy. That's why it's honest. This is not childish games. This is reality checking. A dangerous mind does not fall in love with potential. It watches behavior. It understands that words are cheap, especially from people who want access to you. And the final habit is one many men refuse because they fear it will make them cold. It's the habit of controlled absence. Machiavelli understood that power is a distance and is always present, always reachable, always responsive. People stop valuing your attention. They also stop fearing your withdrawal. Your presence becomes background noise. Controlled absence is not punishment. It's leadership. It's you choosing where your attention goes. It's you refusing to be an emotional vending machine. When you are not instantly available, people feel the gap. The gap makes them adjust. The gap makes them respect. The gap makes them think. This habit also protects you from the attention economy that turns men into servants. Every notification is a leash. Every quick call is a theft. If you let other people's urgency own your day, you will never build your own life. You'll maintain theirs. At work, Controlled absence means you don't respond to every message instantly. You don't let other people's panic own your day. You create blocks of focus. You show that access to you has a process. That alone changes how people treat you. They prepare before coming to you. They stop dumping chaos on you. They respect your time because you respect it. In relationships, controlled absence means you have your own life, your purpose, your training, your goals, your discipline. You're not mysterious as a trick. You're occupied. You don't chase attention. You don't panic when there's silence. You can be quiet for a day and still feel solid. That solidity is attractive, but more importantly, it makes it harder to control. When you combine controlled absence with controlled image, something powerful happens. People start imagining consequences before you even speak. They start self-correcting. They stop trying to push because they don't know how far you'll let it go. That uncertainty, when backed by consistency, is a form of power. This is the Machiavellian edge. You stop being driven by the need for harmony. You start being driven by the need for position. Not social status, inner position. The position of a man who knows his worth, knows his boundaries, and understands human nature without fantasy. Now, if you're listening closely, you can feel the shift. These habits are not random tricks. They're mental conditioning. They rewire you from emotional reaction to strategic action. And that rewiring changes everything. If you do not apply this, your life stays the same, just with different faces. You will keep attracting people who sense your need to be liked. They will keep using your generosity against you. They will keep testing you because you keep proving you can be pushed. You will keep over-explaining because you fear being misunderstood. You will keep chasing because you fear being alone. You will call it being a good man, while your respect quietly dies. The cost is not just outside. The price is inside. Every time you tolerate disrespect, your mind learns that you are low priority. Every time you betray your standard to keep someone, you teach yourself that your value depends on their approval. That becomes your identity. And a man with that identity can be controlled by anyone who knows how to pull the correct emotional string. You'll also become secretly bitter. Not openly. You'll smile and say it's fine. Then you'll resent people for not appreciating you. You'll start making passive-aggressive jokes. You'll begin to withdraw in silence, then explode later. That's what happens when you never enforce. You become a man full of stored poison. Machiavelli would say you are letting small enemies grow inside your own walls. He would also tell you that disorder, once allowed, spreads. One coworker disrespects you, then another tries. One partner crosses a line, then they push further. One family member uses and guilt, and then it becomes the family language. Weak borders invite invasion. Strong borders create peace. That's the paradox. Firmness creates calm. But if you apply this, you become different in a way that is hard to explain until you feel it. You stop rushing. You stop chasing. You stop needing immediate answers. You remain calm under pressure. You become comfortable letting other people be uncomfortable. You stop trying to win every moment and start winning the war. Strategic silence and information hunger make you hard to read and easy to understand. A controlled image makes people associate you with certainty. Controlled generosity protects your energy and builds absolute loyalty. Decisive enforcement trains the world to treat you with care. Emotional detachment makes you immune to bait. Controlled testing keeps liars out of your inner circle. Controlled absence makes your attention valuable again. And the key point is this. This is not cruelty. This is not a game. This is understanding reality. Machiavelli didn't write to make you a villain. He wrote to make you effective. He wrote for men who wanted to survive in a world where intentions are invisible and outcomes are everything. You can still be moral. You can still be kind. But you will be sorted from strength, not from fear. You will give because you choose to, not because you are begging to be valued. You will listen because you are collecting information, not because you are scared to speak. You will walk away because you respect yourself, not because you want revenge. This is the mental conditioning most men never get. They stay trapped in the childish fantasy that being good guarantees being respected. It doesn't. Respect is earned through boundaries, consequences, and presence. Love can grow from that, but it cannot replace it. Now here's how. You integrate this without turning into a robot. You don't need to change everything overnight. You need to become consistent. Pick one habit and drill it until it becomes automatic. Start with silence. For 1 week, in every tense moment, say less than you want to say. Let the other person do the talking. Notice how much they reveal when you don't fill the space. Then add information hunger. Write mental notes instead of emotional reactions. Treat people like patterns, not like stories you make up. Then tighten your image. Decide what you tolerate and what you don't. Make it simple. If someone mocks you, you don't laugh along. You stare, you pause, you change the topic, or you leave. If someone speaks to you disrespectfully, end the conversation. No speech, no argument, just a clean action. Your image is built by what you do, not what you announce. Then restructure your generosity. Give slower. Give less. Give with clarity. If you help once. Then you let the person handle the rest. If someone always needs you, that's not a friend. That's a dependent. You don't hate the stop feeding the pattern. Then enforce decisively. The next time a line is crossed, don't wait 2 weeks before exploding. Address it immediately with a short sentence and a consequence you can execute. You will feel your heart race. That's normal. That's your old training dying. Do it anyway. Then train detachment. When you feel the urge to chase, pause and ask yourself what you're buying with that chase. Most of the time, you're buying relief, not respect. You're purchasing a temporary calm that costs you a long-term position. You can handle discomfort. That's part of masculinity. Then test loyalty quietly. Don't accuse people. Don't interrogate them. Just stop overgiving and watch what changes. Stop always reaching out and see who returns. Stop being the fixer and see who respects you for who you are. And finally, protect your absence. Create time where you are unreachable. Not to play games, but to build your mind. Train, read, work, plan, sleep. The world will not fall apart because you didn't answer in 5 minutes. The world will adjust to your standards. As you do this, people will call you different. Some will say you're cold. Some will tell you've changed. That's true. You went from easy to clear. The men who benefited from your weakness will complain. The people who respect strength will adjust and respect you more. That is the price of power. It filters your world. And don't miss this. You will feel fear at first. The fear of being disliked. The fear of conflict. The fear of losing people. That fear is the withdrawal symptom of obedience training. You were trained to equate approval with safety. Machiavelli would tell you to break that link. Safety comes from position, not applause. When you can sit in silence without needing to be loved, your mind becomes dangerous. When you can say no without guilt, your mind becomes dangerous. When you can walk away without drama, your mind becomes dangerous. When you can wait, observe, and strike at the right time, your mind becomes dangerous. Not because you hurt people, but because you stop letting people hurt you through manipulation. Now take one real-world challenge. For the next 7 days, delay every emotional reaction by 10 seconds. 10 seconds before you reply. 10 seconds before you explain. 10 seconds before you apologize. 10 seconds before you agree. In those 10 seconds, ask one question. What move increases your position without violating you? Values. Then act. If you got value from this, like the video, subscribe, and keep training with me. Not for entertainment, for transformation. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay unreadable. And remember Machiavelli's lesson. The world respects the man who can govern himself.